So, now that we're done with the horrible, horrible, horrible,
We'll move right back into the horrible, horrible, horrible.
this 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 day has just been full of horrible. It just keeps getting worse and worse,
Uh,
Cliff.
it's the news. What do you expect? Optimism?
I expect something. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna get
you're
that
getting
though.
it. Horrible. Ugh.
So, we're gonna do section 3 now, which is the debatably the most controversial of all the sections. It'll have topics,
So what you're saying is,
religion.
controversially, this is a controversial section.
Yes. Damn it, Cliff.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Welcome back, Lydia. You're just in time. The Jesus Cop article was pretty yeah.
No, that
So,
was just stupid.
that was just mainly stupid, but... Alright, so I'm gonna ask right now if you do not want to discuss controversial topics, or you just don't feel like you can handle it, please take your leave now or keep your silence. It's...
Rather, if you don't want us to discuss controversial topics.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, just...
GTFO.
So just we're trying to keep as calm, cool, and collected for this section as possible. So we're gonna, I guess, jump right into the first article in just a sec here, as soon as I get this loaded. There we go. Alright. Jury rules that advocating jury nullification is not a crime. And Cliff seems like he has a pretty vivid expression for this. So
I care
I'll
a lot.
I'll let you start.
Jury nullification. So,
I'll let you start off.
for those of you who do not know, and I suspect that there's quite a lot of you who actually don't know what jury nullification is, because it's not exactly something that many people would want you to know about. And I know it sounds... I know how that sounds. It's not that kind of thing. Basically, what jury nullification is if you're on a jury, what you can do during a case is if someone is... Let me rephrase that. If you are on a jury, you have the authority to judge the law as well as the facts of a case, and therefore you can find someone innocent. You can acquit someone who is obviously guilty of doing something if you believe, as a jury, that that something that he is guilty of doing should not be a crime. So as a jury, you are kind of overturning that law and saying, yeah, he's guilty, but fuck you, we're not doing anything about it because he shouldn't be guilty.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't be guilty of anything. And what this ruling is that passing out pamphlets about this, passing out pamphlets informing people of this right, and this is a right that that jurors have the authority to judge the law. That this ruling this ruling says, let's just go with says.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, this ruling says that distributing pamphlets about jury nullification, even in front of a courthouse, is not jury tampering. Now, if you try really hard, if you look at it really hard, you can kind of see how it would kind of maybe be on a Friday, the third Friday of September, on a, like, every other odd month or year. Maybe that would be good reasoning, that it would be jury tampering. But basically, here's how, with the twisted reasoning, how it would be jury tampering. If you're sitting in front of a courthouse and there's people walking up to you and you're saying, okay, if you're a juror, you should know this. If you twist it in some odd way, you can kind of say, well, they're kind of saying you should do this. You should find everyone who comes into your courthouse. You should find everyone innocent and overturn all the laws. Now, obviously, that's really bad logic.
Yes.
Or at least, I hope that's obvious. I hope every one of you can see that that's bad logic. Because that's just not true. People are going to vote guilty whether or not they know about jury tampering, and people are going to vote, or jury nullification, and people are going to vote innocent whether or not they know about jury nullification. It's not really going to affect them that much.
But it is still there.
But these people, sorry, I'm trying to find the specific people.
Overturn all the laws. No, we're not going to overturn all the laws. They're there for a reason. Some may be more just than others, but still, they are there for a reason. Piano slave is just sick of being a piano slave.
For the details of the case, U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, I got that right on the first try,
I'm
claimed
proud of you.
Julian P. Hecklin committed the crime of jury tampering by handing out these pamphlets, and U.S. District Judge Kimba Wood, noted that the statute cited by Bharara prescribes written communication aimed at influencing a specific juror's vote in a particular case, whereas Hecklin passed out his literature to pedestrians generally, albeit with the hope that some of them might turn out to be jurors. So the judge didn't even have to address the First Amendment implications of trying to imprison someone for controversial speech. And New York University law professor Rachel Barkow told the New York Times, quote, "I don't think sensible prosecutors should have even brought the case," unquote.
Yeah.
Nor should sensible prosecutors have claimed that, quote, "advocacy of jury nullification directed as it is to jurors would be both criminal and without constitutional protections, no matter where it occurred," unquote. Basically, you can't tell the people who can nullify that they can nullify.
Yeah.
Yet that is specifically what Bharara's underlings asserted. I love that word, underlings. Asserted in a brief last year.
I mean, the jury is, I mean, the judicial part of our law system is kind of strange. It works to an extent that the jurors are willing to let it work, as well as the people who run the courthouse. And
yeah, you have to get the whole jury to agree on
yeah,
this. It's kind of a, oh, you know what? I think this is a bad law. I'm just going to vote no.
and the
But you have
chances
to,
of
oh,
the chances of this kind of pamphlet influencing an entire jury to overturn a law
well,
is,
to be fair, you only need to influence one.
Hmm.
Because if you influence one to the point where someone remembers, that's right, we can do that, then they can kind of tell the other 8 people on the jury,
But they can do
guys,
that.
we can do this.
But if it's like a moral, I mean, if obviously if it's like an ambiguous case where maybe the law just doesn't seem to be right, but for many, I'm not gonna say most because I don't know the statistics about laws. I mean about rulings. But there are some cases that are just, that someone's guilty or someone's innocent, and I don't think that having jury nullification will cause people to overturn laws just to make them innocent if they're guilty, obviously. But Uh, how many sensible prosecutors are there?
Well, I want to be a prosecutor,
You
but
got Cliff.
you've seen how sensible I am.
We just had Section 2. You're not sensible right now.
I'm never sensible.
Even less so now. Edgeworth? Maybe.
Edgeworth, I forget all the other prosecutors from that game. I've really got to play those games again.
Yeah.
Phoenix Wright's a
Anyways,
great.
back to the story before we trail off
Yeah,
too far.
back to the irrelevance. Um,
So yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about this because on one level it's kind of stupid to not to call this thing, jury tampering, because it's just informing them of their rights.
yeah, this isn't jury tampering. That would be the same thing. That would be pretty much saying telling people to go out and read the Constitution would be jury tampering, and people actually going and reading the Constitution would be jury tampering.
But Cliff is gonna
It's not.
Cliff is gonna be the real Edgeworth. Yeah, that's it. But the whole aspect of jury nullification, I don't know. That kind of not that I agree with every single law there is out there, but just the ability to overturn it if you get the majority of a jury. You, you know.
If there's a majority of people who agree that this law is unjust, then yes, you should have the ability.
But I mean, you're not always going to get a good bunch of jury folk. Did I just use the term jury folk? Anyways,
I don't know.
you're not. I mean, yeah, most likely there'll be people with common sense on there, and most likely it's if a person is innocent, if a person is chosen guilty by law, but obviously should be innocent, then yeah, they'll base it based upon sensibility, but not every batch is going to be perfect, is what I'm saying. So I don't know. I think that there might be some minor flaws in it.
Well, there's flaws in everything, so
Shh.
don't ruin the illusion.
Don't ruin the illusion. There's no flaws.
Alright, anyways, you want to move on to the next one?
Yes.
I'm going to let you take this one.
Alright, I'll take this one.
Because, yeah, you were the,
This is my subject.
yeah. Well,
Study of the day. Strict parenting and same-sex urges lead to homophobia. I believe this one was donated, actually. I think it was our only Section 3 donation. No, wait, this one wasn't donated. This one I did find, I believe.
I hate studies like this. The study's behind a paywall.
Hmm?
The study's behind a paywall. You have to actually buy the PDF.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. $12? Fuck that.
Well, you might be able to get it at your university. Who knows?
I
Anyways,
go to a community college.
anyways, new research in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology suggests that anti-gay prejudice may stem from restrictive upbringing and repressive homosexual desires. Now, I have been doing a whole bunch of research on, because I'm doing a research paper on it, on the effects of parental influence on children.
Then I guess it's a good thing I turned this one over to you.
With homophobia. And what they found is that homophobia is really, really bad for children. I mean, to the point where if you're too overly restrictive, the child can become so stressed that they just lash out at anyone that seems homophobic. I mean, that seems homosexual, even if they're not.
Let me just interject real quick to the comments. Piano, don't get me started on Mormons. Anyways, back to you. Back to you in the studio, Bob.
So I mean, I guess that they looked at this problem. it says time and time again, stridently anti-gay public figures like Larry Craig and Ted Haggard are caught in same-sex scandals. Is there a relationship between homophobia and homosexuality? They did a research and they found that many people who are homophobic, who are outright homophobic, like not just like, privately, but who publicly express homophobia, are more likely to have some homosexual desires.
I think we covered that last
We
week,
did,
didn't we? Hmm.
but this one does a little bit further research into the parent side of it.
Hmm.
Um, just one second. My throat is really killing me right now.
Well, we've been talking for 3 straight hours, so
Meh.
I'd
We talked for
surprised
longer
if it
last
wasn't.
time. Um, so I think this if I probably am gonna get the PDF from my school because I have access to every
If
journal in the world.
if you can send a copy of it over to me. I'm kind of
Okay,
curious.
I will. Um, I believe this one goes further into the parenting side, but they don't discuss it very much in here. Um, I guess it's just within the methodology right here. Um,
Hmm.
it is basically what we looked at last week, but the study itself is supposed to go into the parenting side, which is what I'm kind of looking at now.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying right now does not really go off of what is on this article, but more of what I've researched. And homophobia is just really bad. Don't pass it on to your kids if you're homophobic. Please don't. It causes all sorts of social and psychological issues, and it's not good for them. In fact, people who actually try to restrict even like gender roles, like if a kid is if a boy is drawing princesses or something, restricting that can actually lead to the same kind of stresses as if you say you can't be gay. So, so that's kind of my 2 cents from what I've studied so far. Now we can go on to one I think you know a little bit better about.
A little bit, and only reason I even know a little bit better about it is because it just seems so damn familiar. It just feels like this is not the first time I've heard about this.
Missouri Don't Say Gay bill. GOP sponsors wary of homosexual agenda. I'm getting kind of sick of this kind of stuff, to be honest. Republican lawmakers in Missouri are defending their controversial bill to ban the teaching of sexual orientation, all kinds of sexual orientation, not just homosexuality, but heterosexuality as well, and bestiality, for obvious reasons. um, a group of 20 Republican state representatives, the Don't Say Gay bill. We've seen this multiple times.
Yeah, what's his face? George Takei even spoke out about against it. I don't remember the video for it, but I do remember having seen that video where he spoke out against the Don't Say Gay bill from some state. But
Yeah, exactly,
um,
Mizu. I mean,
it's just
I suppose my main problem with it is what they're trying to just restrict the homosexual agenda, but they're doing this by restricting sexual education altogether.
and that's not going to end well.
That doesn't end well
No,
ever, ever,
no,
because it has been it has been proven.
statistically.
I'm not going to say that word because I can't say it right now, but it has been proven that states that have this kind of that have these kind of laws have higher teenage births um, and more social problems.
Well, the main part that I have a problem with here is this quote from House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Andrew Koenig. When it comes to sexual orientation, that is a discussion that should be left for the most part up to the parents. And yes, but no.
No.
I say yes because, yeah, chances are the first thing your kid's going to, the first time your kid's gonna learn about this, ask about this, is from asking his parents or her parents.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you should ban it from schools. It's like you were saying, banning sex ed. That's not a
That's
good
never
idea.
good. Ever.
But banning it from school just because you're afraid to talk about it, that's frankly stupid.
By the way, Twitches, I saw your link. I'll look at it in just a minute or two here.
It's pretty much the same.
It is?
I'm gonna look at it, but I thought it was um oh no, it's not. Oh.
Is it good?
It's one of those, if you have any faith left in humanity whatsoever, do not click his link.
Alright, we'll do it at the end then. We need to destroy ourselves one more time. So I'm getting sick of these kind of things, to be honest. I might be a flaming liberal, but this is just not good for kids at all.
Missouri, you are not good education.
No. No, kids need to be taught.
I'll just put it that way.
Teaching kids properly prevents so many problems. Even if
And
it is
here's,
uncomfortable to teach them.
Here's one of those, here's one of the excuses, I guess. House Small Business Committee Chairman Dwight Scharnhorst, Republican St. Louis, a co-sponsor, says he believes sexual orientation issues should be taught by parents, clergy, and physicians. Parents have been passing along responsibility for children to the public schools, partially because of the writings of blah, 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 blah. Parents have been passing along responsibility for the children to the public schools because they're afraid and they don't know how to say it themselves. I think, really, I know it's kind of not the best thing to do, but really, Louis C.K. really sums it up. When you see someone stand up on a talk show, and I'm quoting him here, and say, "How am I
Your
supposed to
video
explain
froze.
to my..."
Can you refresh it real quick?
Yep. All right. Tell me when I'm back.
You're back.
All right, I'm going to quote him here. Like when you see someone stand up on a talk show and say, "How am I supposed to explain to my child that two men are getting married?" I don't know. It's your shitty kid. You fucking tell him. Why is that anyone else's problem? Two guys are in love, but they can't get married because you don't want to talk to your ugly child for fucking 5 minutes. And that's really the problem here. You're uncomfortable with it. So you just don't want to discuss it. You just want to kind of push it away.
Which is, I mean, yeah, I know some parents.
Okay, yeah, if you want to do that, fine. But don't make it policy. Don't make it policy for everyone to have to do that.
Because some people will not, regardless of if you have a policy to do it. And by having education in school, it prevents problems at home from happening. It prevents not being told at home from happening, basically. It informs. And, you might be afraid of the homosexual agenda. I get that there's still homophobia in the world. And that's not going to go away in my lifetime, probably. Not
even
entirely. It'll never go away entirely.
with the way technology is advancing, there is the very small possibility that your lifetime may be a lot longer than you expect it to be. So, I'm gonna take the side of the optimist here and say there's the slightest chance that yes, maybe it will.
The simple case of separation of church and state. No excuse for this to be happening, honestly, since it's unconstitutional. So switches. And there are laws that say that you have to provide education for children, and I guess you could advocate that this should be required within the laws, even though it's not specifically said. Yeah, that's true, Beanish. No matter how long you live, there will still be some people that are racist and homophobic. It's not going away, I don't think, entirely. It will reduce significantly, and those people that remain racist and homophobic will, you know, will not be looked highly upon.
You know the worst part about your message, Fiendish? I can't tell what number that is. So now I just have to see what number that is.
Alright, well, while you're doing that, I'm going to start on the next story.
10 million. I'm back.
Alright, this is our last story for tonight.
Well, except for Twitch's.
Except for Twitches,
thing.
which we'll look at in just a few minutes here.
Twitch's thing is so damn depressing.
And this is Georgia. In God / Allah / F
Flying spaghetti monster.
Flying Spaghetti Monster, we trust. Or you pay. Basically, they have a bill that it automatically places "In God We Trust" on to the back of onto your license plate. And in order to get removed, you have to pay extra money to get it removed. This is stirring quite some debate among atheists who do not like this.
I think I can't remember. Did I say last episode that I'm that
you
I
did.
can speak English?
Agnostic atheist.
That I'm an agnostic atheist? Okay. So then yes, I did. So
Hi, Ashley.
I'm an agnostic atheist. So obviously I'm going to find some problems with this as well. But the "In God We Trust," as much of a pain in the ass as that is, I'm not going to address that right now because as every single time we've brought that up as unconstitutional, it just keeps getting shot down and all that. So I'm just going to ignore that bit for now. The part that I have a very, very strong problem with is the fee to remove this.
Yes.
That is blatantly unconstitutional. Because that is blatantly discriminating against people who do not believe in this specific God. For instance, if you believe in Yahweh, if you believe in Allah, a flying spaghetti monster,
If you
even
believe in
it's
Greek
just a parody,
mythology,
if you believe in the tales of Zeus, Heracles, whatever, any of those, the state is making you pay extra
to
to
remove
have your license plate conform to your beliefs. And that is specifically unconstitutional.
Yes, yes, Piano Slave. The police officer in Memphis wants your money.
Of course, this is also specifically unconstitutional in the other way, in that the state is blatantly endorsing a specific religion over
Yes.
all of the other ones. So, double whammy.
I like how it's somewhere in here. Where did it say that? Oh, this was in a comment. They're going to use the "but it's a national motto" argument while they happily take in extra money. If it's a state license plate, why not use the state motto? Ironically, it's wisdom, justice, moderation. That's the first comment.
A lot of people keep neglecting to remember or just forget. Well, that would be neglecting to remember. Um, a lot of people just don't know in general. "In God We Trust" has only been our motto for 56 years.
Mm-hmm.
We adopted it as the official motto of the United States in 1956 as an alternative to the original E Pluribus Unum, which was adopted in 1782.
Yes, you did, Ashley. Anyways.
It's it was essentially just a reaction to communism
Mm-hmm.
and the McCarthyist communist witch hunt. That's the only reason "In God We Trust" is on our money.
You know a lot more about American history than I do.
I kind of have to. I'm one of the most discriminated against minorities in America. Even worse than homosexuals. And Muslims.
Because you're agnostic atheist?
Agnostic atheist.
Well, what if you're agnostic atheist and homosexual?
Well, then you're just fucked.
That's why you don't tell no one anything.
Might as well just go to Home Depot and buy that, and go buy that buy those 2x4s and build yourself your own cross so they can crucify you on it.
God, no. Let's not let's get out of the Home Depot.
Okay, let's go to Lowe's.
Alright. And just for you who were wondering, this was on the National Atheist Party's page.
So of
Yeah.
course it will have a
So,
bit of a
so it is biased in that regard. But still,
the bill itself.
this is kind of unconstitutional in some regards. So,
Twitches. Real quick. Yeah, you might get more. You might get more of a reaction from all of the people you hang out with, but statistically, atheists are the least trusted and most hated and most discriminated against minority in America. And I'm not just saying that because we're an asshole. Everyone can be an asshole.
yeah. And the reason that it's not quite as much a minority among our group is because we're all in our, late teens, early 20s. The most liberal of all times, basically, for humans. So, I guess that will end our controversy, and I will now look at Twitch's.
Real quick, though, in case you're wondering, the survey that I'm kind of offhand quoting, the two questions were: this group does not at all agree with my vision of American society, and the statistics were Jews 7.6%, recent immigrants 12.5%, conservative Christians 13.5%, Hispanics 20%, homosexuals 22.6%, Muslims 26.3%, and atheists 39.6%. And I would disapprove if my child wanted to marry a member of this group. Whites, 2.3%, conservative Christians, 6.9%, Jews, 11.8%, Hispanics, 18.5%, Asian Americans, 18.5%, African Americans, 27.2%, Muslims, 33.5%, and atheists, 47.6%.
Wow.
So we won by a landslide.
Hope you're not a combination of those.
So if you're a African American homosexual atheist who's a recent immigrant and somehow looks a little bit Jewy,
You might as
you're
well just leave.
fucked.
Alright, I'm looking at Twitch's article now. Tennessee anti-bullying law change could allow students to speak out against gays for religious reasons.
Doesn't that title just make you hate humans?
You shouldn't speak out against anyone.
Well, unless they're
They're
stupid.
well, we, yeah, we kind of ruined that last section, but still, just for you know, I don't know how to put this into words and how angry I am.
Yeah, that's the best part, Tim. I already hated humanity, and that title still made me hate humanity even more.
More,
Somehow,
you found a way.
hate will find a way.
I do hope that they declined it in here somewhere. So
Um,
I haven't had much time to look at this, obviously.
no, I haven't either.
Um,
I just kind of popped it up, saw the title, and just went, fuck, and just went back to the story we were on. But
so, Twitches, do you have any thoughts on this? I
do
mean,
you have anything to say besides,
do you have anything to defend your state with?
What did, okay. So he's pretty sure
They declined it. You signed a
declined.
petition against it. Good for you.
Good boy, Twitches.
Good Twitches.
Who's a good Twitches?
Who's a good Twitches?
Who's a good Twitches? I'm sorry, I had to.
Yeah, he's not defending Tennessee at all. It's alright, Twitches, we're gonna kidnap you, and we're gonna bring you north. It's what he's always wanted. Northward bound. I love you, Twitches. Alright, so maybe I'll look into this article further and I'll talk about it next week if I have anything in particular I want to say. But right now I don't have time to look at it. But I'll save it.
See, the worst part that I'm just kind of off the top of my head, not just kind of skimming. The worst part is that I can think of. At least with the laws, the rules that my old high school had, there was the wait, no, I just fuck it. Never mind.
Alright.
Train, lot,
Train exploded.
nuclear,
Nuclear waste everywhere in your brain.
yeah.
Right. Well, if you think of it in the next couple minutes,
Five, everyone.
you can think of it in the next couple minutes. We're not gonna
I
leave just
can't.
yet, but so that was section 3, and that was our last section for tonight. So thank you very much for joining us. We enjoyed having you with us, all of you. For those
Except
that
for you. You know who you are. We didn't enjoy having you with us.
he means me.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. We
He
did.
means me.